Hi friends and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Abear and this is where I share my insights. And today I'm talking about naked and unafraid. And this is about your uncanny ability to make everyone in your life equal on a playing field that has no winner or loser. Stick around and we're going to talk about how freeing it is to play naked and unafraid. In the book of Job, after all these things happened to him, horrible things, everything was taken away from him. In the end, he states, I was born naked and I will die naked. And fundamentally, that means we are living naked as well. And nakedness is the irreducibility of ourselves. This place of equality that gets covered in a layer of ignorance and fear, which is not always noticeable. But once you notice the transparency of it, it's funny. And you can always bring it with you. It's a frequency in life that hums at a very inaudible level. It's essentially the blind power of love, which is this very lulling, sustaining hum that in the stillness of silence and the nakedness of the moment, you notice it. But over it is a lot of words and noise and fear that pseudo covers it. But the resonance of love bubbles up from under it, and you begin to see that it's never missing. It's blurred with a lot of percussion and clangy cymbals and thumping. And jumping up and down, and hot air, and words and words and words and words and words, lots of noise, cover the sustaining power of love in this deep, exposed realm which can never be stopped or hidden. It's just temporarily skewed. By words, really. And words cover the truth in its absolute form. Until you pick up on it, then it becomes kind of funny. The average person will speak 860 million words in a lifetime. I think that is probably quadrupled if you consider the number of words you speak to yourself in a chatty mind. So not only do we audiate the words, we are subvocally talking over our entire existence. So it's not 860 million spoken words, it's probably 2,400 million words. And you will be able to pick up on this overlay of words in an individual because they will be beady-eyed and not available and covered in what looks like fear. Now, these coverings, which are called the ego or the shadow, are like percussion instruments in a symphony. You have to keep beating the drum to keep it alive. You have to keep talking to keep the hardness of the clanging cymbal covering the subtlety of love humming in the substructure of time and space. So politicians are real good at this. They keep thumping fear, lots of fear, and then they get a headline. You get attention, and then it dies down. You gotta keep thumping it up, thumping it up, thumping it up. Then you get a headline, then it disappears. So it's hedonistic. And the same kind of thing happens in religion. Oh, you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell. So it keeps a lot. It takes a lot for it to keep it going. Bible thumping is what it is. It's kind of like trying to keep dust in the air. It's like keep your panties on is another way of saying this. Keep kicking up some dust. Keep tick, tick, tick. Keep beating the drum. Keep rattling. And then what you notice is that it takes a lot of effort to keep up that noise and to keep talking. Which is weird because I'm encouraging us to learn from the silence. I mean, Ramana Maharshi spent all of his life in silence, and people in an ashram grew up around him. He finally had to speak. People were coming to be instructed by his silence. And ironically, he walked around in a diaper. That's all he covered. He had a little shroud over his private parts, and that was it. That's all he needed. And that's the nakedness that he was trying to show us. That if you just sit in silence, you'll discover the truth. It will instruct you. And the words kick up a lot of dust and a lot of percussion and tit, and the love and the nakedness are there. So if you want to speak love's language, you have to get on its level. Okay? Just like Ramana Maharshi, you have to put on your diaper. Because, as Job said, or even better yet, be naked. I was born naked. I will die naked. And I will live naked. There's no difference. So, how do you do this? How do you speak love's language without literally taking off your clothes? Well, you have to use your imagination. You have to take a towering figure like Tony Robbins. It just came to my mind. Donald Trump. Richard Dawkins. Lindsey Graham. These are powerful figures in our minds. And we put them up there, and they have a lot of clothes on. But spiritual revelation realizes, okay, the emperor does not have clothes. How do I tell him? How do I include myself in that vulnerable state of being true to who I am, naked and unafraid? Well, Ramana Maharshi took off it. I mean, he didn't have any clothes. If you look at pictures of him, he's just wearing a diaper. That is not on accident. There's an irreducibility of the human. We're just a bag of skin, naked. So what we do is, instead of putting those people on a pedestal and putting yourself down on the lowly ladder of life, bring everybody to the equality of who they are. And you are a baby in a soiled diaper. You once were. That's when you're pure love. That's when you're the purity of the pure. You are just a baby, and you remain that way. The ego is a false sense of authority and dominance that we fall for. And then you'll be again a hospice patient, an incontinent old man, old lady. You have to imagine these towering figures in their most vulnerable moments, which they never show you. As if they're going to get on the toilet and try to struggle to reach their butt. Are they going to show you what they look like when their legs are spread, having sex, their eyes rolling in the back of their head, red face, bodies jiggling, straining to push out a turd on the commode? Can't keep their bowels under control. And yet they're running the world, dominating. And they're basically drooling on themselves. At some point they will. We've all shat ourselves. We all, farted. Ooh. Don't let anybody see you sweat. Don't let anybody see who you really are. You can't keep it away. I mean, look at poor Mitch McConnell. My heart broke for that man when he froze at the podium. And he was once a political enemy. Poor thing. Standing up there. His face droopy. He couldn't speak. Lost control. You don't have control. So the way to do this, you got to play along. You can't point out to the emperor that he has no clothes. He'll get angry at you. You must take off your clothes first and show everybody. Part of me wants to be naked when I'm speaking like this, but then YouTube would be like, okay, that's pornography. Ramana Maharshi did his best to show the transparency of a human being. The vulnerability, the stupidity, the ignorance, the nothingness of a human. The bliss of being completely free. Not afraid of death or what people say about you or what kind of pedestal they put you on. You cannot do that to yourself or to others. So you go into your imagination. And you imagine all these people in your life in droopy drawers, droopy, loose-fitting panties. You imagine them with their legs spread. Huffing and puffing in a sexual bliss, their eyes rolling in their heads. Confused, drooling senior adults with incontinence. A decaying hospice patient. A babbling baby. Which is what I am. These words are nothing compared to who I am. So when somebody criticizes you, put them in a pair of diapers. But do not look at them as if you're the parent looking at the child. Diaper to diaper. Spread ankles to spread ankles. Dying hospice patient to dying hospice patient. The body is a bag of dying skin, covered in the glory of clothing, the majesty of the ego. You have to get under that. You have to be more clever than that. If you're going to go up for a debate, if you're going to go into a contentious meeting, you can't go in as the authority. You can't go in as the inferiority. You have to go in as the baby. Goo goo gaga. Everybody else goo goo gaga. There is no control. There's no dominance. Those bags of skin are wasting away like dust. One day, the President of the United States will be a babbling, drooling, incontinent Mitch McConnell. You do not feel sorry for these people. You don't patronize them. You don't pedestalize them. You become their truth. Your critic, your assailant, your opponent, your boss, your mother, your child, we're all goo. These are just words. Covering the underlying substructure of the hum of love, which is sweet. We have 35,000 recorded words of Jesus, and we're still talking about those words. The words you're hearing on CNN and Fox News, and even these words, nobody will remember a damn thing. They won't be talking about Ryan Abair's words 2,500 years from now. But if you could get naked like Ramana Maharshi, if you could expose yourself like that, the truth will be resonated that there is just love. The love is being pseudo-covered by a very thin and flimsy thing that you'll begin to see through. And then you'll say, oh shit, I am naked. I am naked and unafraid of Goliath and the devil and capricious and sinister forces out there. I've just overlooked the substructure and stillness of silence and love, nakedness, purity. Put a gun to my head. If you're afraid to die, imagine that's going to be a release. That's going to be, oh, thank God you put me out of my misery. People who have been put to death have been put out of their misery. Put yourself out of your misery now. Strip down. Get transparent. Get on the same playing field, because it's just play. At the end, everything is over. When the universe is over, it's all over. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. Everybody is just quack, quack, goo, goo. I have no idea. Babbling idiot. But full of love. Smirking underneath the words. If you're faced with Goliaths and giants and authority figures, put them in a pair of soiled, droopy diapers. Take off your clothes too. Be naked with them. Imagine their legs spread. Their inability to control their bowels. Their mouths. That's the equality. How do we tell the emperor, sir, you're naked, and I love you. I really love you. My name is Ryan Abair. If you enjoyed these insights, please check out my blog. It's called My Morning Motivator. Thank you.